Miss Zing, I think you have the invocation.
I do. Dear Heavenly Father, we bow our heads in prayer to you. We are grateful for our lives, for our challenges, for our growth, and for our opportunity. But today we're most grateful for our ability to help others. As Rotarians, in our hearts, we look for opportunities every day, everywhere we go. Please grant us the strength today to collaborate and get even stronger as we head into the holiday season, looking for opportunities to show what it means to be a Rotarian. We ask for your blessings for our health, for our safety, and for our lives and our families. Please bless the food that we eat this morning, that it nourishes our bodies and helps us through the day. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Kathy Smith, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see, who set up? Mark Gale? Thank you. Who set up? Did Mark set up this morning? Well, he was here doing something. Thank Tom and John McCarty for greeting. And let's see here. What else we got? Thank you, Diane, for the invocation. Let's see. Do we have a business minute this morning? No business minute. All right. Rotary minute. Mary Alice.
I thought I would do the Rotary Minute this morning on a public relations campaign that was started in 1927 by the Rotary clubs in the United States. Does anybody know what this public relations campaign might have been?
When was it?
1927.
March Dimes.
Well, what happened in March, on January 1st of 1927 was that Rotary entered the first float in the Rose Bowl Parade.
How about that?
There were only 4 times before 1980 that the Rose Bowl Parade was entered by Rotary. One was in 1927, the first one. The second was in 1942, and that parade actually got canceled because of the war. Then it was entered again in 1944, and the theme that year was Service Above Self. And then it was entered again in 1966. Then in 1978, a person called Jack Gilbert, who was a president of Wilshire Rotary Club in Los Angeles, was thinking about the Rose Bowl Parade as he was sitting there in front of his TV watching it. And he was thinking that the following year was the 75th anniversary of Rotary in the world. So he thought that would be a good opportunity to get some of Rotary's accomplishments before the public. And so he started talking to a group of friends, and they got to talking to more people, and pretty soon there were 7 district governors in Southern California that got together and said that they would back the entry into the Rose Parade. And they said that any monies that they needed for that float that he wasn't able to raise from the other clubs, they would cover. Well, he did cover it. The float cost $35,000, and the governors were off the hook. So with that, they looked back and decided that a lot of these new members that were coming into the clubs actually had been educated by the presence of that float, and that started then the committee that chaired all of the rest of the Rose Bowl Parade floats. We've had a float in the parade every year since 1980, and this will be actually the 39th consecutive year to have a float in the parade. Last year, the float committee had a viewing audience of 41.8 million households in the United States, and 28 million households around the world in more than 243 countries or territories. The tournament estimates that more than 700,000 are present live on the parade route, over 22,000 view the floats as they're decorated, and almost 122,000 view the post-parade floats. So the average cost, it's very interesting. You can't really find a specific cost for a specific float. But the average cost ranges from $30,000 to $100,000, but they actually estimate that with the additional costs of promotion and entry fees and all that, it runs between $250,000 and $260,000 per float.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. Very good. There we go. All right. Do we have any visiting Rotarians this morning? No visiting Rotarians. Samantha Rowe, I think you have a guest. Would you introduce him, please?
I'm looking for the microphone. I can't do anything without the microphone. Oh,
Jeez.
I know my.
I think you can, but that's okay. We're recording these, you know.
I can't do anything without the microphone.
Yeah.
I know the rules. So, so today we have Jeff Oline, who is here with us today. He's checking out the club. So, Jeff, would you like to introduce yourself and say a few words?
Yeah, so I'm Jeff Oline. Just want to say thank you guys for having me here. Heard some great things about the club so far, and definitely excited to get to know everybody in this group and see if this is a good fit for me. So I grew up here in Colorado, went to the University of Wyoming, but came back from Wyoming and been in Denver ever since. So again, thank you for having me.
Welcome.
I am a financial planner for Raymond James and Associates. Our office is just over here at I-25 in Bellevue. So, thanks again.
Welcome.
If your checks don't bounce, you're a good fit.
You can be replaced, Brad. So, Samantha, you want to talk about our off-site meeting next week?
Sure. Well, we'll start with that. I can go into holiday stuff after.
Whatever
That
you'd
works.
like.
Perfect. So on most of the tables, you will see a sign up for the RSVP for the off-site visit to it's actually called the Family Sports Center, not the Arapahoe Family Sports Center. So it's the building and not the dome inflatable building, just so everybody knows the difference. I will be out there directing traffic. So, but tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next week, next Tuesday, December 4th, we'll be there. If you emailed me the RSVP and you're not on there, it's because I printed that before you emailed me. But I will get back to you and let you know that you're on there. Otherwise, please make sure you're on there. Otherwise, you won't get breakfast or a seat. So that's for the offsite. Yes, Roxy?
Hey, Samantha, Raphael is a maybe.
Well,
I forgot
we'll
to,
add an extra two.
Will be like next
Oh,
week. He can come or
okay.
So I just want to let you know you could have one more.
Okay, well, we'll add 2 for him based on how he eats.
There we go.
I think it's important to remind people that if you're bringing a guest, you need to.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, if you know that you'll be bringing guests, I do have to put in the head count tomorrow afternoon. So if you know for sure, just let me know. Otherwise, I won't eat, and the guest will have my seat, and that's fine. So, shall I
Okay.
go on?
You might as well go on and
Okay.
talk about the Christmas party.
So the holiday party is coming up quickly, and I want to thank the entire committee that has been just phenomenal. Also on your table, some of the tables will have a volunteer sign-up sheet, and we do need volunteers all the way from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. we have different shifts, so please sign up. We need help setting up. We need help running baskets. We need help registering people as they come in. So it's, you know, it's so great if you could have someone help, or if you have people in your family that love to help. I am bringing my mother instead of my boyfriend because he's working, so she's going to be working with me. She doesn't know that yet. But so if there's anyone in your family that you could do with that too, let me know. So if you could sign up and make sure to just make sure that those sign-up sheets go around, that would be appreciated. Now, RSVPs for the holiday party. I have a list. We have about 89 people right now. And I'm just double checking with people if they've signed up and they haven't told me they're bringing anyone. I'm checking with them to make sure we've got everybody. I will be sending out an entire list through email, so you can double check. I do have to have the head count in by Monday. So this is the last Tuesday that you can sign up here at the meeting. Yes.
Sam, I'm signing up for Basket Runner, but I don't know what that is. What am I signing up for?
Basket Runner. So Basket Runner is once the basket has been bid on and won, and then it has been paid for, then you go get the basket and take it to the person that has won the basket.
I can do that.
Perfect. Great. And just let me know if you have any other questions. So thank you, everyone.
Any more questions? I was remiss in not welcoming Raphael. He has, what, 3 or 4 plates this morning? Or he's a growing kid, you know? Welcome, Raphael. Thank you.
Playing for the championship.
Yeah. Ms. Zing, any update on Santa Claus?
Microphone check.
Grazie. Okay, December 12th is right around the corner. We are nailing down all the kids that we are helping. Almost towards 100 kids or so, 3 different locations. I just want everybody to know I'll probably send out an updated email of everyone that I have listed as a volunteer. So if you've randomly, verbally just told me, please send an email. If you haven't signed up on the list, let me know. But it's coming, it's right around the corner, and I just want to thank everybody. So just don't forget, you got to wear your Santa hat when you come on the day. And then over the next 2 weeks, I'll be bringing flyers that explain the project and just reminders of how it goes and what to do. And then we'll be splitting people between the Arapahoe Crossing and the Quebec store because our kids will be split. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, Dan. If you don't have any Santa hats, I have about 20 that we use for our Christmas tree giveaway, so I'll have those in the event that somebody doesn't come with the appropriate headwear. Ann West, any update on Meals on Wheels?
No, all's well. I don't have all is well. It's December is fully signed up. Thank you so much again, group, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I guess I'm really happy with the group that we have, but I'm always eager to sign new people onto this project because it's one of the easiest and most fun things you can do.
Thanks, Ann. Mary Alice, any update on prime timers?
No.
Nothing. Gee whiz. Last week was the first meeting after the Casa Thanksgiving dinner. I did not go. Did anybody go to the dinner and help serve? Why don't you give us a little report in terms of what happened and how it went?
Okay, so this year was the first year, This year was the first year that they had all the kids from like little to big. It used to be a project where they did the group homes, where the groups of kids would come to the dinner. But because the dynamic of how those kids are being helped through CASA has changed, they opened it up. There were quite a few kids that came, lots of food, lots of serving. It was quite touching. It was nice to get to know some of the actual CASA volunteers a little bit better, and it gave us a chance to chat to them a little bit about what Rotary is and who we are. But they are so grateful for our club, and I wanted to extend to everybody the thanks that everybody was giving us, kids and and the actual volunteers themselves.
Very good. Thanks,
It was a good
Diane.
event.
Just a reminder, we have a Christmas tree giveaway committee meeting today after this meeting. We're getting down to crunch time. The event is the weekend after this coming weekend, 8th and 9th. The container's been delivered. Mark and I have about 40-some trees in there now. So I will bring the last sign-up sheet for the actual event, which is Sunday the 9th. We have a lot of people for the 8th in terms of putting together the Christmas tree boxes with the ornaments and lights and things, but we're going to need some strong folk for that Sunday event. Is Andres here? No? Andres not here. So we're trying to get some volunteers maybe from the Regis High School baseball team to help us, but we need some strong bodies for that Sunday, so to help load the trees on the cars. So I will bring the next sign-up sheet next week for our off-site meeting, and for those of you that I know and who are not on the list, I will be contacting you personally with a little one-on-one conversation. Yes, Diane?
What time on Sunday do you need strong bodies?
I would say the event, actually, the people are going to be there between 9 and 12. So if we have some underage people, we need to have waivers signed for those individuals. But yeah, the heavy work is between 9 and 12. Yeah, perfect. Is your son available?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, between you and I, he did a great presentation. There's all the kids last week for Ryland, Junior Ryland. I was impressed with their presentations. Everybody did a great job last week. Any more Rotary business? Yes, Don.
I did prepare the newsletter for last week, and I sent it on to Karen Berry. She's out of town and doesn't have the distribution list with her.
Well, shame on her.
So,
Jeez.
not throwing stones, but the newsletter is done and will hopefully come out sometime this week along with this week's.
We get a double
But
dose this week.
There's a
Good.
picture of all of the participants from the Casa Thanksgiving, and thanks to Greg Cottrell for the photograph.
Great.
It's on the website.
Okay.
Thank you to Don for putting together the summary of these great meetings every week. You do a good job on that. Before we get to every, go ahead, Big Al.
Yeah, since Karen is not here, that would mean that we didn't have an attendance sheet. So we did we get one? Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, checking up on us.
I was here. Am I here?
Any more Rotary business before we get to the Puerto Rico presentation? Anybody have any committee comments or anything? Yeah, Ann. Well, I asked earlier, I said, who's got the business minute? And you were asleep or something. Stand up, Ann. Come on up here.
I asked Alan to put me up because now is a, let's back up a minute. For those of you who haven't been here as long as I haven't told you that I am a travel agent, and I specialize in cruises and tours, and I wanted to, that picture is not very good, wanted to show you some of the pictures we got from our Eastern Mediterranean cruise in May. But mainly I wanted to emphasize that if you're looking for a spring break or summer vacation, give me a buzz. Right now is when we really need to talk to you about river cruises in Europe, Alaska cruises. I'm not sure. Oh, there I am. That's it. Okay, good. That's in front of the library at Ephesus, and Ephesus turned out to be probably the highlight of our trip. But that's one of the things we did, and I'm hoping we'd come around to our ship, because our ship, people seem to think that cruises are really packed. Our ship was 30,000 tons with only 690 passengers. Oh, it's sideways. And
There you go.
I saw.
You, yes.
Yes. This happens to be one of the ships that, your name just went out of my head. that they think is terrific, and I have good reason to second that. It's the Azamara Journey, and as I said, only 690 well-pampered passengers. And it's not cheap, but it's great. And that happens to be the white nights. Everybody's supposed to wear white, which I think is ridiculous. If you look around, you can't find a white dress in the middle of the... But we enjoyed ourselves. That came from Santorini. We were in Santorini, Rhodes, Ephesus. We also went up the boots of Italy and ended up in Rome. And the food is fabulous. But I'm not promoting that so much as if you have an idea about going somewhere for the summer by ship, or spring break's coming. And I know that Andres and family are going to go on Disney again because they had such a good time last time. So give me a buzz.
Thanks, Ann. And what's your name, Greg? I was commenting to Greg this morning that he seems to be in perfect attendance the last 3 or 4 weeks in anticipation of leaving in January and February for his ski trip. So, Greg, thanks for being here 2 weeks in a row. Appreciate it. He's trying to get some points beforehand, you know. Hey, this is my only opportunity to stand up here and insult my friends. We do have a birthday. Dee is... Dee's Eunice is not here, obviously. Hopefully you had a good birthday. Before travel gifts, John Peterson and Mark Garfinkel, you want to get up here and do your Puerto Rico presentation. You want this? You sure? We'll do it after. Once you're standing up, we're going to keep you standing up.
Over here. Thank you, everybody.
All right, let's get the photo op right here. Here we go.
Photo op.
All right.
Brothers from another mother.
There's a lot of gray in those beards, boys.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, as you all know, we're in our WaterRico project. You now see the official logo of the WaterRico project that we put together. So we want to tell you a little bit about what we did earlier this month and what we have coming up for you in the following months. So as you all know, Puerto Rico is down in the Caribbean. It's a pretty good sized island, about 50 miles wide, 150 miles long, and is very much a part of the United States and very much different from the United States. So the area that we've been working in there is the municipality of Mocha, and we've made contact there with the Rotary Club of Mocha, and they have done a splendid job of helping us out getting this project going. So as you all know, in September 20th, 2017, a little lady named Maria waltzed through the island. It wreaked havoc with their infrastructure, with their water, and added problems to the water problems that they already had and still continue to have. So because of that, Mark put together this program to supply water filters for Puerto Rico.
So where we left off last time, was it April that we went?
May 17th.
Oh, May 17th. The first time we went to Puerto Rico, we spent 5 days and we built a biosand filter. Here you see us testing the water flow of the filter. We wanted to evaluate whether or not this type of filter was going to work, because our ultimate goal was to put up 1,000 of these filters. The problem was the washing of the sand inside the filter took 6 hours to do 2 filters, and that does not add up very well. Go ahead.
So after learning a lot from that trip, we came back and wanted to find a better way to go.
But what you can see here from the picture is the community had set this up. They created a shelter for it. They painted it. and they put a small garden at the bottom of it. So this tells you that the community was very excited about the possibility of this. And we had experimented with two different types of filters, one cement and the other, John had invented a plastic version of it. Say that again?
Oh, no, not at all. As you'll see what we're doing.
Well, back then we had a problem with the plastic one also. We had a plastic problem.
Both of them. But it just to go on any kind of an upscale version of it, the time consumed was too long to build one unit. It took a whole weekend to build 2 units, and that didn't work. So what we did was we came up with this filter arrangement from a company in Michigan called Aqua Clara. And what it is, it's the tap water goes into the top. It's filtered by a coarse screen. In between the 2 buckets, there's a water filter that's a hollow tube membrane filter that takes it down to 0.1 micron, which is 3 times smaller than the smallest of viruses. So it produces very clear, very clean water. And of course, then the water ends up in the bottom bucket to be distributed to the people. So we've come up with this project so they can have one in every home in the area, and that's what we proceeded with. So, what did we do next? We went down in the 1st of November, United from Denver to Aguadilla. And landed at the Aguadilla Airport, which is after the hurricane, everything is pretty much back into a normal situation down there. The beaches are very clean and nice again, and the foliage is back on the trees. They've blossomed out, and it looks a lot much better than it did in May.
This picture here was taken from where we did all our work. So we were completely surrounded by this kind of lush beauty.
So the Rotary Club of Mocha has their own clubhouse. It's not uncommon down in Puerto Rico for every club to have their own clubhouse. And this is a great facility.
I tried.
Yes, you did. And they have this clubhouse, and we were able to use that to do our assembly and the distribution of the filters. So this is the day 2. Mark, go ahead.
This is Nelson Quinones. He is the past president of the Mocha Rotary Club. I'm presenting him with one of our WaterRico caps. And this is how we started. We had 210 buckets, and we had to convert these buckets into filters in a relatively short period of time, about 5 hours.
Now the logistics on this are the buckets are purchased from Home Depot in Puerto Rico. They have 5 Home Depots there, so we're able to get the buckets down there. And the filter kits were brought in by Mark and I and Ralph Ogden from another club as baggage into Puerto Rico. So we brought the filters, Home Depot delivered the buckets, and this is what we were up against when we arrived. So we showed people the construction techniques and what we do. The biggest thing you have to do is put a hole in the bottom of one of the buckets. So that's done with a drill, and we just tried to teach the people down there from the local Rotary clubs that were helping us put these together what the construction took.
Now, it seems like an easy feat. You know, you put a drill a bit into the middle of it and you create a hole, but in actuality, we had to remove the middle bump there with a special tool. We then drilled, and then you could see me in the background. I was using a debriding tool to actually scrape the lip so that it's a smooth surface.
So this is kind of just some examples of what it took for these people to get together and build 100 filters. That's Julio. He's our Puerto Rican administrative representative. He's not a Rotarian, but he's a good friend.
And you can see here, it took us about an hour to really figure this out. I think the next time we do this, it's going to be very quick. But in the first hour, we probably built 3 filters. And then all of a sudden, we kind of caught our stride, and we had somewhat of an assembly line formed, and we started really putting them out quicker. Here's a picture of the Rotarians that helped us on that first day create the filters. The couple on the left, Maria and Jimmy, and then the second from the left, Oscar, they're from the Rotary Club of Aquara. And then in the center you have Nelson, and then the 2 handsome men in the black shirts. Okay, go ahead.
So this was the finished product, 100 filters ready to go. So on day 3, we started out with a meeting.
Well, go back for one sec. So we have the mayor here who visited the project, and also he catered that, I think it was the second day, supplied us with lunch, which was kind of nice. And so we sat here and we spoke to him about the needs of Mocha. Were we doing a project that was needed in the city of Mocha? And he affirmed, yes, we need it. And then we explained to him we'd like to do 1,000. He said, absolutely. And then we also talked a little bit about a hospital. They have one hospital in the municipality of Mocha. And during the hurricane, they had to ship water in from a spring. The hospital did. And so we are now talking with them about the possibility of doing what's called a facility filter for the hospital in case this happens again.
It's a much bigger system than this. It's a whole facility filter. So we had that meeting with him and found out the needs and everything for sure that what we were doing was the right thing. And the conclusion was it was absolutely the right thing. So we had our picture taken with the buckets and the mayor and everybody, all the pomp and circumstance you have to go through. We presented the mayor with one of our exclusive WaterRico hats and a bucket for him to evaluate on his own so he could be knowledgeable about the bucket itself. And we also presented our flag, our banner, to the Mocha Club, and they presented one to us that we have in our presentation. Okay, day 3 and 4. This was Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, so we created a process thanks to the help of Julio and Nelson, who did all the translating for us. We had 4 sessions where on Saturday 3 groups would come, and on Sunday afternoon after church we'd have a final session. And what would happen is they would sign in at the desk. We would make sure they had we could legibly read their contact information. And go ahead.
Well, we had, just so you know, the way we worked this was we had 17 community leaders down there, and we asked them to find 100 people that needed these filters that were either below the poverty level, had 2 children or more, or were elderly or handicapped. And so they were able to come up with easily with 100 people that were in big need of this kind of filter. So the people came, including some handicapped people, and we had great attendance by the audience, and they were attentive, and they asked questions, and they were smiling, and they were just very great to work with.
So the reason why we had this set up as a classroom style is because we're about to give them instruction. We wanted to make sure they understood how to maintain the filter and clean it. So I started off with introductions explaining what we were doing, and Julio is a sensational translator, and he probably made it, as far as my talk was concerned, better than I originally had it.
So the people down there all speak Spanish, but not that many speak English. So we needed an interpreter to tell everybody what we were doing.
So what you see here, we have a filter here at the top. There is a sticker that actually explains what we're about to teach them. And then below, we have our own sticker. It shows the Rotary clubs that sponsored it, and then the organizations that helped us, including the City of Mocha, the local Rotary Club of Mocha, and an organization called Project Managers Without Borders.
So after Mark got done with that part of it, then I would do the technical part, and I would show the people how the filter worked and how to clean it. And how it's cleaned is between 1 day and a week, depending upon the quality of the water you put into it. You pull the filter out, or you don't pull it out, but you go from the top bucket down, and you put a syringe in there, and you suck out the contents of the filter, and that cleans it out. These filters are rated for 10 years worth of use, and they're cleaned out, like I say, once a day to once a week, depending upon the quality of the water. Now, the water that these people would put into this would, number one, be tap water, because they don't drink their tap water down there because it's not healthy. Or perhaps when their tap water doesn't work, and it doesn't work a lot because the electricity is very intermittent, and when the electricity goes down, the pumps go down, and there's no water pressure. So everybody down, well, not everybody, but almost everybody has a cistern, and they draw water off their roof, and that's what they can also put into this filter to clean that, to get any inorganic or organic material out of it.
And it rains there quite frequently, so it's not a bad way to have reliable water. About every 3 days there's rain. So if we have this way of cleaning it, then they have enough water.
So after we got done with the instruction, then we passed them out to the people, and as you can see, we're, wrong, whoops. You can see that we're very careful about the people coming in, registering, and the people going out with them, because we have to do a survey and a follow-up on this project, so when we do the global grant that we'll tell you about in a minute, we have our act together, and we look extremely credible. So that was the people checking out and the happy people walking out with their new filter for their kitchen. So that was the end of it. We said farewell to Mocha, flew all night on Sunday night. We left at 2 in the morning and got into Denver back about 11 in the morning on Monday. But Aguadilla is kind of a different airport. There are no flights during the day. All the flights come in the middle of the night from midnight to 6 a.m. And JetBlue, Spirit, and United go in there. So it's accessible, but it's kind of a weird arrangement. All right, here it is, the next step. 1,000 filters in 9 days. We have a proven concept. We have proven the need. Now we're working on a global grant for $70,000 to $80,000, and after that, we need your help. Spring 2019, somewhere around March or April. Boots on the, whoops, I'll get this right yet. Boots on the ground, that's our Rotarians. 6 to 8 Centennial Rotarians we're going to take down there. We have a minimal cost out of pocket, basically airfare and some of your meals. Everything else will be taken care of and paid for. And the good part about it is when it's before, during, or after, if you want to make an extension and stay longer, we can make that happen. So you can turn it into a personal vacation along with a working holiday for the Rotary Club. Anything else?
Can you take kids?
And I think that's all we have. So is there any questions?
Catherine?
So I have two questions. The 1,000 does that saturate Puerto Rico? And I guess where I'm thinking about it is this is a pretty cool concept that once you can saturate one country, you can keep moving on. And my second question is on these kind of, like on something like that, is that something you could maybe take kids on?
Okay. The first question, does it saturate the area? There's 40,000 people in Mocha, so it doesn't saturate the area. About 60% of those people are under the poverty line. So now we're getting a little bit closer. We had the idea of doing what's called community filters, which would supply 2 liters per person in the entire city, but the mayor, after we had talked with the mayor, he didn't feel that would be used, and the need wasn't there for that. For some reason, he thought the hospital idea was a better way to go. The second question is kids. What kind of age are we talking about? Because, what's that? Oh, teenagers might work. We're looking for, obviously we want people who are going to be able to work. I mean, this is pretty good amount of work. We really don't want little kids there because we don't want any distractions. But when we're working, it's work, So teenagers would probably work as long as they have a good work ethic.
Basically, what we plan on doing is going down there, doing 5 days constructing filters, which would be 200 filters a day for 5 days, and then the distribution thereof. So it's going to be full days. It's going to be a 40-hour work week easily, and probably some more time.
Can you explain the facility filter that you're looking at for the hospital and what that entails?
The facility filters are, they're, a system of pipes, and the actual filter is on a larger scale. We would have to hire someone from the company to come and actually put it in. And it would be able to, these are used for hospitals, schools, that type of situation. A little bit different than what we call the community filters, which we had envisioned being sprinkled throughout the city. But they had just recently put some in, was it Kenya?
Yeah, they've done these Kenya and over in the Dominican Republic also.
Yeah. Phil?
How much has the Centennial Rotary Foundation put into this? How much has our foundation put into the...
At this point, we put in $3,000.
Thank you.
So what we just spent of your money was about $8,000, of which $3,000 came from our club, $1,000 came from the DTC club, and we got a district matching grant of $4,000.
Cheryl?
What is the flow rate on the commercial filtration system for the hospital? How many gallons, or how large is this?
Well, the hospital idea is fairly new. We're still looking into the flow rate for that, but that's a great question. The flow rate for these is about 1 liter per minute.
Wow.
Yes?
Was your water potable before the storm?
No. No, the water is tap water is not healthy. People did drink it, but a lot of people got sick down there. A lot of people died.
Before the storm, Puerto Rico had the worst water in the country. Of all the, if you consider it a state, let's say, of the 51 states, it would be 51. Yeah.
Any more? What a great project. Good job, guys. Great job. Mark, before you sit down, you want to just keep the mic and do Happy Bucks?
Sure, we'll do Happy Bucks.
Ah.
Traditionally, I ask a presidential question for the Happy Bucks. If you can guess it and you guess it right, I'll put $1 in. If you guess it wrong, you put $1 in. So the presidential question is...
One thing before we go. Can I just get a show of hands of people who would be interested in going down on this project? All right, so we have good interest. All right, well, we're going to want to take all of you with us. Thank you.
At a Hanukkah candle lighting ceremony in the White House, a young girl's hair caught on fire, and this president stamped out the fire with his bare hands. If you can guess who it is, I will put $1 in. If you guess incorrectly, you put $1 in, okay? Starting at this table here, Happy Bucks. Oh, I'm going to start out with a Happy Buck. Our guest here, thank you for coming. And I will start with $1 here. Whoop, all my money's falling. All right. IOU. David? Here. All right, here you go.
I have just one for Mary Alice. It's the first time I've seen you since your little health scare, so I'm so glad to see you again.
Okay. John?
I'm suffering the consequences, but I'm grateful for modern medicine having a tooth removed yesterday.
Wow. Jeannie, do you have one? You want change or you're good?
Happy Buck for the Broncos winning. Dr. Paul, yes. Although I'm not sure I like those orange suits, but if they win in them, wear them every week. And Happy Buck for your project, Mark.
Oh, thank you. That's yours. How much do I owe you back? You're good? Okay.
So I have the mutual married, $5, so I'm starting with my 2. Number one, that is an awesome project, and I'm so excited and energized by it. So great job, and look forward to supporting it. Number 2, my awesome husband gave himself on my birthday the most amazing birthday present. I got a Philip Lindsay jersey, which he rocks the fro like nobody else. And then Dr. Paul generously gave us football tickets for one of the best football games that I've seen all year. So thank you for making it a good one for us, Paul.
I guess I have 3. First, Raphael, it was a pleasure to host you at the CU football game a few weeks ago, even though we froze our tail ends off. And it was a lousy, lousy football game, as CU normally plays anyway. But we did have a really great sushi lunch afterwards. So, and good luck to you in the state championship this week. Yeah. Beat Valor. Second one, I'm looking forward to being a guest at the Tallinn, Estonia Rotary Club on Thursday this week. And then the Garki Abuja Rotary Club in Nigeria next week. And I'm still working on the partnership with the one in Nigeria for 2 projects. One is the water project. The other one is, they continue to work their Eradicate Polio project. So I'm trying to work that partnership continuously. And then the last one is, kind of with Catherine is thanking Paul so much for those football tickets. We had such a good time, and it was so gracious of you. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Anyone else at this table? Okay, John?
Just $1 to thank all you people that raised your hand are interested in doing the project with us, because we can't do it without you, and we need you.
Yeah, I have 3. I did not realize this was quite the effort and energy put on by these guys, so I think they need to be given a huge amount of appreciation and kudos. The second one is welcome, Jeff. Welcome to our club, and hopefully we'll see you again, Jeff. And the last is I did what Gene said. I was sitting on the edge of my seat for 3 hours because I did not know what was going to happen. Ended well. I had a conversation with my son Kurt last night, who you all know works for the Broncos, and one of the very first times this year that he's been upbeat. Normally he's pretty depressed. Okay.
This is a WaterRico buck.
Ditto.
What he said.
This is for the Broncos, but we all agree that orange looks like pajamas over here. It was miserable.
She's got the mic.
I've got the mic, yes, that's true. I thought about going to Puerto Rico. I've been there several times, but it sounds like more work than my back can take. So, unfortunately, I could. All right, I'll think about that. Solo un poco.
She knows enough to get past the border and out of jail.
I have a happy $1. My vote is to going in April, please.
Diane?
Thank you. I have 20. And
whoa.
So thank you very much for your efforts on this project. It's going to be a really good one. And I want to thank everybody for all the projects that you guys are working on. It's been really great. And I love the Broncos, and I love the orange outfits. I don't care, pink tutu and a lampshade. If they can win a game, that's all I'm after. And thanks for our guests for coming, and here we go.
I'm thankful that the Broncos have a defensive lineman with good hands.
All right, this table, Happy Bucks. Barb?
This is for Mark and John. You're doing a wonderful project, and it's really great.
Any other Happy Bucks? Greg, wow.
Whoa.
Well, sitting next to Jeff here as a financial planner got me thinking, and I have done some figuring on my ability to retire, and my calculations have shown that I'll be able to retire about 5 years after I die.
I can crunch those numbers better for you.
I have $1 for our guest. Welcome. I hope you come back again.
All right, any Happy Bucks at this table? Don.
I've got two. One for the members of the club who have come up and asked how my wife is doing. And the second is for my wife. She's in rehab and is progressing.
Great.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any Happy Bucks? Hi, Diane.
Just happy.
All right, Randy.
I've got 3. One is for Mark and John. Great job, guys. 2 is for a merciful end to the Colorado Buffaloes season and hopes for a better next year. And the third is for Diana, who's the only one who could stand me enough to stay at the table. We've been abandoned.
I missed the whole table. There you go.
This is for the Broncos.
Tom?
Yes, I was kind of in charge of getting the donations for the food drive for the American Indian Center. Absolutely blew me away that I made one request for help and got overwhelmed with offers, and that's just amazing how this club is. I was worried about how are we going to con people into this, and it didn't work out that way. But I think we had possibly the largest donation of all the clubs. There were 9 clubs that donated, and from the feedback I got, it sounded like we had by far the most. So thank you so much to everybody that helped, and we had a whole bunch of people that were really great sales people. I overheard some of the conversations with people. Diana was even out there trying to bring the sun on with some chanting or something. So anyway, thank you very much.
All right, Randy.
This $1 is for the WaterRico project. And I see this to be a signature project for this club at some point, as it can build to other communities after this. It's not just this community. So congratulations on both you and John.
Thank you. Any other Happy Bucks? Did I miss anyone? No? Okay. All right. Go. So the
Ditto for the Puerto Rico boys. Great job.
Thanks. So, any guesses on the presidential question? The answer is, in 1994, President William Jefferson Clinton saw a young girl with burning hair and stamped it out with his hands. Wow. So, yes.
Very good. What else? With that being said, we won't have any jokes about Bill Clinton. With that being said, we're going to have a club assembly. We're kind of running out of time here, so we have club service administration, community service, international service, vocational service, youth services, and fundraisers and signature events. I'm on community service, so is Randy Ernest, so we'll meet back there. We're running out of time. Normally, I think Tim really wanted everybody to or the committee chair to make a report to us, but we're running out of time. So secondarily, I would ask that the chair of each committee kind of prepare a summary of what they talked about today, give it to Tim, then he can share it with us later on. So with that, we'll adjourn to our committees. Again, community service will be back there. And there you go. Okay.
All right.
Who's going to, I'll have one of the two Puerto Rico boys come up and draw the lucky number here. Come on, John, come up here. You'll be the... How much we got today? David?
We are over 300.
Whoa, whoa.
This is the final sorting.
Higher, there you go.
131.
131. All right. John Wexler.
Yeah, but Webster's a sweetheart. Okay, you got this, honey. 6 weeks you're out there. Go get the blue one.
Okay, he's good.
Verify, okay.
Lunch.
Rust.
There you go, all right.
Blue.
Let me just check.
Blue.
Make sure there's a blue one present.
Blue.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Come on, John. Come on, Wordsworth.
You can do it.
Come on. Blue. Blue. Oh.
Darn.
Come on. Blue.
All right, better luck next time. All right. Everybody stand and join me in the four-way test, the things we think, say, and do. Truth. Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, next week, off-site meeting at the South Suburban Center on South Peoria. Thank you.